All right, so this week we're in Florida, and one of the things that's on our list of things to do is kind of run through this Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was manufactured in February of 2000. I bought this about 3 or 4 years ago. It had a locked up engine. One of the things with the engines in these is the head. They get a crack in the head, and then they blow a head gasket and fills up with antifreeze and then cracks the block a lot of times. And that was the case with the previous engine that was in here. So about 4 years ago, we dropped a Rock Auto reman engine in here, and it probably only has a couple thousand miles since then. But one of the things that we're working on now on this, so I bought the Jeep for 800 bucks. I put a $2,200 engine in it, and then really just a couple little things here and there. So we ended up with a nice, reliable Jeep Grand Cherokee for just under $4 grand. But some things we have now is the front diff was leaking out the seal, so we're removing the front drive shaft now to get to the seal. We'll replace that, put fluid back in here. We have some fairly loose steering components, so we're kind of still troubleshooting that. They'll probably get replaced. The transmission fluid is below the cold line there, so that needs topped off. And down here you can kind of see where the transmission fluid is going. It's anti-rust. So we're going to clean all this up. We'll get some degreaser, clean it up, retorque all of these transmission pan bolts. But obviously we're leaking a little bit from the front here. It's probably the front main seal on the output shaft seal on the transmission. But there's really no sense in pulling this transmission down and putting a new seal in it, as long as we keep it topped off for now, because when we bought this, we had no idea how many miles were on this transmission, and I still don't. But the likelihood of it needing rebuilt in the next 3 years, probably pretty likely if this thing's still around by then. So we're just going to top off the transmission fluid, clean it up down here, retorque these pan bolts, because it looks like it might have been leaking from the back of the pan here a little bit. And that should help with at least some of the fluid that we're losing. If you look right here, a problem that we didn't know we had was this, look at that, hand tight, and that was backed out. I haven't even touched this one yet. So, but fortunately, we have to remove this drive shaft to get to that seal. So I started taking these front ones out already, and we'll have to take these back ones out, but it's a good thing we caught that. But yeah, just pretty much a general cleaning. Pretty much just a general cleaning under here. Got a little drip here, so we'll check the level of the torque converter fluid while we're down here. And just some kind of general maintenance and a little bit of troubleshooting, like I said. So we've already gotten started. Let's keep going. gonna fire you. You're fired. Might be getting attention there. Hot water. Hot water. Okay. Cold water. Hot water here. And that's in this room right here.
The hot water heater's outside. So you can adjust the flow and turn down pick and stuff.
To the wall. Yes. Aircraft mechanic.
I can pick mine up. Oh, that's light. This tire shop in Homestead. Bought 4 new tires for the Jeep before I was even stepping in.
All right, so we backed it out of the driveway and then pulled it in, visually pulled it in straight. And then as you can see, the steering wheel is ever so slightly clocked clockwise. So we're gonna get into there now. We left the drag link loose, the clamps, so that we could adjust the steering wheel, but it's really close. So let's jump under there now and we'll just give the drag link a little turn. So tie rod, drag link, this affects the steering and the steering wheel. So we're gonna start turning it, and we're gonna need a pipe wrench ideally, but we're gonna use channel locks today. Torque to spec. Yep. All right, so we changed the rear, or we checked the rear diff fluid and it was good. We changed the front differential seal and topped off the fluid in that, the pinion seal. And then we had to top off some ATF, and we did a nice little paint job on the black plastic here. We did all the front steering components, both tie rod ends, both drag link ends, and now it just needs to get a professional alignment. But you know, just come into town and help do some general maintenance on some vehicles, probably above the level of my dad wanted to, above the level my dad felt comfortable with. So instead of paying somebody else to do it, something I can do, so we just knocked it out. And we had a bad rust spot right here on the hood, so what we ended up doing was sanding it down, threw some filler in there, sanded it back down again, and then we just put some spray, a rattle can of bed liner on. So just trying to clean it up a little bit, keep it looking nice. But that pretty much closed this video out. Now we're getting ready to haul this Suburban back to Tennessee. Just topping off tires now.